20 years of connecting Africa to the world, Meetings Africa 2026 returns to the Sandton Convention Centre as a premier catalyst for the continent's business events industry. Following a massive 690 million rand economic contribution in 2025, this year's flagship trade show hosts nearly 300 exhibitors from over 20 African nations and 380 plus elite buyers. Beyond the numbers, the event remains a vital platform for innovation and SMME growth, showcasing the collaborative spirit of the African market. Now, for the latest from the floor, let's go to Sakina, who is at the Sandton Convention Centre. SK, let me hand it to you.
And welcome back, Leanne. And as you say, at the Sandton Convention Centre, coming to you from the exhibition floor in row K. This is where we find ourselves right now. And just giving you a sense of who is here and what they are doing. Because remember, as you say, this is the premier business events networking session. It's a powerhouse for economic impact across the African continent, Leanne. And those who will be here are here to not just drive deals, but also cooperation and, most importantly, significant economic impact. So as you can see behind me, there you have airlines, you have hotels and resorts, all showcasing here. There's also spaces like this little meeting hub. This is, of course, where people can sit down and basically strike some deals, you know, book some conferences, some events, and that is what this event is all about. And bringing you now to Namibia, because Namibia is actually exhibiting for the first time this year. It is, of course, not the first time that they are attending, but it is their first time exhibiting. And I am joined here right now, Leanne, by Mr. Sebulon Chikalu, who is the CEO of Namibian Tourism Board. Thank you so much for your time, and welcome to Morning Live.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So it's your first time exhibiting. So what was the tipping point? Why did you decide that this was worthwhile?
Well, after COVID, we needed to do something different. We looked at the numbers and we realized we are getting more, of course, leisure travelers, but business travelers are so few. So we then started embarking on and say, well, how are we going to build it? So we started focusing on business events or business tourism. And now, the last 1 year, we now have built Namibia Convention Bureau. So the issue is then to focus on business events. And that's how we came where we are today. So, yeah, for economic reasons, really, that the tourism sector must expand. We can't just depend on one leg of the tourism sector. So we needed to build other pillars in terms of the tourism industries.
Well, this event is also, of course, about not just marketing, but also about securing deals. So how's that been going?
Well, yesterday was excellent. My team reported huge demand in terms of really incentives and events for Namibia. And I think we are ready. Namibia is actually ready. Yes, in the absence of a bigger, massive convention center, but meetings, incentives, and events are doing well. But apart from that, also, it is also then an extension having some of these events in the desert, you know. So we now have also introduced the mobile events or mobile conferences. So there are operators, there are suppliers that are now doing it. And I think that is the tipping point for our MICE in Namibia, is be able to do meetings, incentives, even conferences, the smaller ones, you know, outside of the normal conference rooms. So, and I think we will do well in that regard, and that's where we see a lot of demand happening, or a lot of inquiries also happening.
And of course, I'm going to invite you, Mr. Chikalu, just to walk with me as we try and show a little bit more of what is on display here at Meetings Africa 2026. But Mr. Chikalu, you know, speaking of Namibia, and of course, some of the really iconic landscapes that you have, and you're talking about growing your tourism sector, but of course, also just in terms of being able to sell and secure some of the bigger exhibitions that take place. So, what are you showcasing in particular? Where is it that people can look forward to you taking them?
Now, Namibia, firstly, is an all-year-round destination. Well, we are sandwiched between the two deserts, the Kalahari and then the Namib Desert. Now, so in the desert area, there's no time you say, no, it's winter, it's now summer, I can't go. No, every year, every time, every day of the year, you can go to Namibia. So that's the first perception that we're trying to correct. So number two as well, yes, there's so much to see than the normal, what I call African safaris. So you can watch views or experience safaris, but greater is the desert experience that Namibia offers, where the Namib Desert meets the sea, beautiful landscapes. Well, some have described our landscape to say, well, being in Namibia in the Namib Desert is like being on the moon. The landscapes are very dramatic, very beautiful. So we have a proper, landscapes, but also wide open spaces. I mean, the population is few, the landmass is big, so we're also providing a peace of mind for those who really want to escape, let's say from Joburg, a busy Joburg or a busy other city, and to come to Namibia for your privacy and just, find yourself, discover yourself being in the desert. Yeah.
And of course, we're showcasing Africa as a whole, but there's competition. I mean, I'm just looking behind me there, the Kingdom of Eswatini. In front of me here, I see Zambia and, their stall. So we have the African continent well represented here at Meetings Africa. And it is a scramble, isn't it?
It is a scramble, but when you look at from the global perspective, we still as Africa getting the list of the numbers in terms of whether business events or the normal tourist arrival. So I think in a nutshell, we need to change the narrative to say we should not be competing. We should see where we can complement one another because we need more tourists to come. When you bring it on the African continent, well, you will realize that Southern Africa actually even receives lesser than the North Africa, the East Africa, and so on in terms of tourists that are arriving. So we have a bigger challenge than in, just competing among ourselves. But also there are many more other traders or service providers, those who are looking for events from the globe. So we need to poach from the globe. We need to bring event buyers from the globe to come to Southern Africa. And when in Southern Africa, and then we can then split them. Some go to South Africa, some go to Botswana, some go to Namibia, and elsewhere. And I think that's what we need to think. We need to have a bit of a bigger picture as we, as Africa, then present ourselves to the world.
And I guess that's what Meetings Africa is about. But a very important point you make about synergizing between especially Southern African countries, because if you think about it, a flight to Windhoek is 2 hours. It's the same like flying down to Cape Town from Johannesburg. And yet we don't see those sort of collaborations when competing for these major events. Here South African tourism stand, and you have to ask, are these conversations taking place? Who have you set meetings up with?
Yes, I'm likely to meet my counterparts, my colleagues at SA Tourism. We have met, I think, last year some events, and we're trying to see where exactly we're going to collaborate. But by the way, Namibia receives more South African visitors as tourists than any other African country. So for us, it's great to be here and also to collaborate with the counterparts here. Further than that, we're also looking at other service providers in Namibia that can supply us with clients. Those that have events, well, probably South Africa has become saturated for them. They're looking for new destinations. So we're going to meet them as well to say, well, there is Namibia, not far from South Africa. Well, there will be no cultural shock in terms of then hosting an event in Namibia if you're coming from South Africa, because almost everything is almost the same in terms of the banking infrastructure, telecommunication infrastructure, the issues of culture, and so on. So,
currency one-to-one.
So that's how easy it is. And above than that, we have the Botswana also as following, Zambia is following. So we are also focused on the African market. We're not just focusing on European market or America and others. So Africa market as well for us for tourism, it's also equally important.
We're just walking past the Ethiopian stand now, and you spoke about East Africa earlier on. And if we look at East Africa and why they are able to attract the sort of market share that they do, where do you think they are getting it right, and what can we learn from them?
Well, I think they have put on top, wherever you go, why they come to East of Africa, it is the safari. So they've marketed and presented themselves that they can offer top safari experiences.
We have safaris?
Yes, we do have, but today, maybe that's not our top. So we need to find our niche. We need to find, what is appealing for each of our countries. So if East Africa is greater in the safari, well, Namibia is then greater in the desert experiences. And then we need to work around it so that our experience then are greater, than probably safari that we are not the best of, and many others. South Africa will also do the same. There are others, probably culture and heritage, and other aspects of the history and so on. So each country must find your own unique and say, well, this is what we offer, so that in future what we need to work in, what we are working on is, well, we need to have collaborations or in packages from East Africa to Southern Africa to East Africa, and vice versa, even East Africa to North Africa. North Africa receives the biggest numbers, well, the Morocco, the Egypt, and many others. So we need to get some of these numbers coming here. So what we need to do is, well, now that they have so many arrivals over there, so we need to think, well, what is that they are not offering that we can even also offer to the same client, adding them the packages. The flights, well, it's not so bad, especially speaking from where we are in Joburg, in terms of connectivity, whether North Africa or East Africa, and also then from South Africa to Namibia. So we need to think a bit bigger. And the aspect of competition we must not just get it out. It's just not competing, because we are offering completely different experiences.
So, Mr. Chikalu, once you have the meeting secured, people are coming for an exhibition, they're coming for an event, they are coming for whatever event. How do you keep them? Because I think it's important to make sure that they do stay beyond the business event.
Yeah, so what we do is we then offer, what you call activities beyond the events. Yeah, we've done some events in the past 1 or 2 years where you say you do post activities and then, or even pre-activities. So what we are saying is now working with the service providers to say, well, colleagues, the people are coming for events, but we don't want them to end in a conference hall. So we want them then to see whether the city itself or to see some other, iconic areas of Namibia. So we're working with the operators to say, well, let's partner up. So we have now Namibia Convention Bureau, which is then a coordinating body for events. So we're speaking to them. So when they offer and selling or attracting an event, they must now also offer packages to say, well, our guests that are coming for this particular conference events can actually have a time, for those who have time, to visit this area and that and see a few other things that you can see, whether adventure or just a history, whether museum visitation, or those who have more time, they can go to our tourism capital, which is the coastal area, Swakopmund and Warfish Bay area, where they can do much more soft adventure activities. So your quad biking, your camel riding, your sand saving, boat cruising, and many others really. So there's a lot that we can do. So I think that is the packaging, the putting it together. Those that are offering events and meetings, working with the tour operators and working with ourselves as the Namibia Tourism Board, and to say, well, let's think and let's offer something better, something greater than just a conference event.
So as a first-time exhibitor, was it worth the money? Is it worth your while?
Well, yeah, yesterday was excellent. And now we're here today. It's worth to be here, and we are meeting up, supplementing our presence here, meeting up good people, good companies, and we will be back as well next year when it comes. And not only next year, we are coming back for 4 city tours in South Africa, Namibia Tourism Board. So we'll be visiting those cities to say, well, Namibia is here. It's so easy for South Africans. Just you can go in your car driving from here on a tire road. Doesn't matter which car, as long as you're on a tire road, you can reach Namibia. And those who want 4x4s who love, driving your 4-wheel drives, they can also come. Or you fly in 2 hours of flight, so there are good connectivity in terms of flight from here, from Joburg, and also from Cape Town to Windhoek as well. So there's easy of travel, make it easy for us as two countries really, and especially visa from South Africa to visit Namibia.
And yesterday was Bonds Day. How did that go for you? And what targets have you set yourself for Meetings Africa as Namibia?
We want to get at least 10 events that we're going to get from here. That has been held in South Africa, I'm sorry, but that's what it is. So we're offering a new destination. All right, so we're looking at really at least minimum 10 good companies that we can say, well, we can host your event this year or next year coming. Yes, this year is a bit slow because it's a bit late. The year is already filled up, the calendar is already filled up, but then for next year. So from yesterday's feedback, I think the team gives me good feedback in terms of those that came, and we're likely to exceed our expectation and our meetings that we have set ourselves and targets.
Well, we're going to leave it there, Mr. Sevilon Chikalu, and talking to us about what Namibia has to offer here at Meetings Africa. Behind me, this is Mozambique, and this is where they are exhibiting and telling us more about their offering. And also I see Kenya, there's Uganda, and so much more.